NC State. Obviously, good win on the road versus a quality opponent. Really pleased with the way that our guys responded to a little bit of adversity. That's one thing. Fortunately or unfortunately, we haven't had a lot of adversity throughout the year, and we kind of knew going into that game, playing in that atmosphere, especially early on, that we'd probably face some adversity. And be on the sidelines with the guys. There was no panic. I think that's one strength of Deshaun, is he's kind of the same person every play, every game, no matter what's going on. And I felt like our guys stayed confident and went out and executed. Feel like we're playing our best ball offensively at the right time. Really like the consistency, and that's something that we've really talked to our guys about, is not kind of being up and down, but really playing at a high level consistently. And I think a lot of that goes into the preparation that our guys are putting in. They've really bought in to our plan throughout the week, starting on Monday, all the way through getting ready on Saturday. So really credit to our guys for that. Deshaun obviously is playing at a high level. He makes a lot of things right for us offensively. He's doing a great job. Offensive line continues to play well. Those guys obviously have had success defensively this year. Watching them on video, we knew there was going to be some challenges there, and our guys did a really good job. Wayne Gallman continues to run hard, and he's a difference maker for us this year. It was great to see Zach Brooks come in and make an impact on the game. Great lesson for a lot of our guys. He comes in and makes probably one of the biggest plays of the game, getting on the fumble, and then the very next play, he gets the ball and gets a touchdown. Also love the way that we're able to involve a lot of guys. I think our depth really showed up. We had 12 explosive plays, and we consider explosive play as a pass over 16 or more yards and a run 12 or more yards. We had 12 explosive plays by 8 different players. And I think that just speaks to the depth, the quality of the depth that we have this year, which I think is a really big positive. It allows us to stay fresh throughout a game and also throughout the season, which I think is important as you start to get into these, the second half of the year. You just think in the second half alone, Zach Brooks, Deion Kane, Ray McLeod coming off the bench a little bit maybe more fresh than the guys on defense, and able to come in and have some big touchdowns. Looking ahead, Florida State, obviously this is one of those games when you get your schedule, you're always trying to figure out when you're playing Florida State. It'll be a big challenge as always. Very athletic across the board at every position. Number 9, Josh Sweat, is a really quick twitch guy, defensive end. He'll be one of the quicker guys we've played coming off the edge, so he'll be a challenge. Jalen Ramsey, number 8, is one of the best corners in the country, and one of the best that we'll face all year long. But really our message to our guys this week is going to be the same it's been every week. I give Coach Sweeney a lot of credit. He's done a great job of really focusing our players each and every week on, the next game is the biggest game of the year. And so we'll take that same mentality in this week and really just trust our plan that we've had all year long, and our preparation, to stay committed the way that we've prepared, and go out and execute. At the end of the day, it comes down to us executing, but right now we're playing at a high level with a lot of confidence, so we'll hope to continue that Saturday. With that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Talking about the explosive plays, with Taj, Sammy, Nuke, looked like a lot of times maybe Taj only had one option, but Deshaun's spreading around so many options. Is this the best this offense has looked maybe since you've been here, just from a talent standpoint?
Well, I would say that we do have more depth, quality depth, and playmakers at maybe every position, where I think in the past few years we've had some years they were at wide out, a couple years maybe Dwayne Allen, he was our best playmaker at tight end. Some years it's been your running back, but I think, overall at every position across the board, I think it's the most quality depth that we've had. And I think it makes us a lot more difficult to defend as well. it's nice to have those guys like Sammy and Duke and those guys, but it's not a lot of question about the defense coordinator where the ball's going in some situations when they know that you have a tendency to throw it to one guy. And so I think the fact that we've been able to spread it out, tight ends, running backs, wideouts, everybody's been involved. And it takes two things to accomplish that. Number one, you've got to have talent at those positions, and number two, you've got to have a quarterback that knows where to go with the ball and to be able to spread it around a little bit. So I think we're fortunate to have both of those right now. And I think also we're practicing really well because we got a lot of guys that know that they got a chance to play. Whereas sometimes you're in situations where you got one or two playmakers. Everybody else just kind of goes through the motions because they know I'm probably not going to get the ball anyway Saturday. They're just going to be giving it to this guy. But now we got a lot of guys out there practicing, working really hard, and Deshaun's doing a great job of spreading the ball around.
The fact that he's been able to throw 5 touchdown passes to 5 different receivers, hit 8 or 9 different guys during a game, does that speak to his ability to see the field and see things develop and wait until it's best? Because he doesn't seem to have favorites like a lot of guys do.
Yeah, I think the big thing for a quarterback is you don't want to see him force the ball, and that happens sometimes when maybe you've got that one special playmaker. Sometimes you get to a situation where you want to find him all the time, and some of the throws become forced. But I think Deshaun has a lot of confidence really in all the guys that we put out there, and we're not just playing guys because we want to play a lot of guys. We're playing a lot of guys because we feel like we have that all those guys earn the right to play and that they can help us. And so we look at it as a big positive. So I think Deshaun really has trust. Now we're getting later in the year. He's had a lot of experience with these different guys that are out there, and so he's just going through his reads, and depending on what the defense is giving us, he knows where to go with the ball. And I think obviously Deshaun has a great athletic skill set, but in my opinion, his best quality is how quick he can make great decisions. And I think that's something, as a quarterback that sometimes underrated a little bit because you watch SportsCenter and just see the great runs or big throws, but a guy that consistently compute, what's going on in a split second and get the ball to the right spot. Those guys are very rare, and that's what Deshaun's doing a great job of, and has all year.
Your plan is to prepare the same way each week, and Deshaun seems to exemplify that as well as anybody. That being said, does he have a certain flair for the big, nationally televised Notre Dame, Florida State type games?
Yeah, I think that's one thing that we've taken a lot of pride in, Deshaun and really all of those guys in that room, is really not getting caught up in that. And it's very easy to get caught up in it because of the national stage. But I think Deshaun has played in some big games. I think even though every time you go out there as a player, you're trying to prove yourself. But to be honest, I think he's got inner confidence, and I think our offense has a inner confidence all among themselves that they really trust our plan and trust that it really is about us. And if we go out and execute, everything else will take care of itself. And I just don't see Deshaun as a guy that's is going to put a lot of pressure on him, saying, "Hey, it's a big game. I've got to go out and do this." I think I go back a few weeks ago. I think it was the week before the Boston College game. Deshaun and Artavis were both asked about their stats. The throwing numbers weren't quite maybe what they'd been in the past or what everybody expected. And I think both of those guys answered it pretty well and just said, "Hey, we're just going to take whatever they're giving us. We're going to keep going, and eventually, it all hit." And then that very same week, we threw for over 400 yards. And so I really think that's what our guys have bought into is just to focus on our execution, let everything else, happen. We didn't know going into North Carolina State. We didn't know if we were going to throw for 400 or run for 400. We were going to have to see how the game was going, what they were giving us, and kind of take what's there. So, I fully expect Deshaun to prepare and our offense to prepare the same way this week as they have all year long. And that's the one benefit when you really, as coaches and as players, when you really treat each game as the biggest game of the year, then when you get to one of the biggest games of the year, it's not that big of a deal. And it's one thing to have that as kind of coach speak, and it's another thing when your players really prepare that way. And I really believe that our guys, in that offensive room each week have put everything that they have into it, and they've seen the benefits of that. And so I think there'll be a lot of confidence going into this week. And really, myself and Coach Elliott, and our message to the guys offensively is, hey, don't do anything different than we've been doing. Let's don't get distracted or get caught up in all the noise that's going on outside. Let's just stay focused. We've got a great plan of preparation. It's proven itself throughout the season. Let's just stay committed to that, lock in, and go to work. So I think that's what we'll do.